Good morning.
Good morning, Coach Jabir. Thanks for being on with us today.
My pleasure.
Okay, I'd like to remind members of the media to introduce yourself and state your affiliation, please, before asking Jabir a question. We'll go ahead and open the floor.
Just a reminder, it is star one if you have a question. And I do have a question that comes from Shane White from 1660 Information Radio.
Good morning, Coach Jabir.
Shane, how are you?
Doing just fine.
Good.
Talk a little bit about you not losing much in terms of numbers, but definitely a great loss in losing your lone senior from last year, and talk a little bit about that and the addition of Cassie Sant and kind of their differences in style.
Sure. I was concerned about our loss of Kendall because she's such a tough competitor, and there were so many opportunities last year where she just kind of took over and willed ourselves into a win, and so I was concerned about that and missing that key ingredient. But I believe that Kristen Doherty and Justine Ratterman and Ellie Queen have filled in admirably, and we still have a little bit of that toughness and that get-it-doneness that Kendall brought, and so I'm not as concerned as I was before, but being a coach, I guess your job is to be concerned. So, but I think the kids have really picked up the slack, and our leadership is definitely one of the strengths of our program this year. I've been getting on Cassie Sant a lot lately because I think she's still learning how intense the college game is. She's probably one of our most skilled kids, but she needs to play with a greater intensity level, and so she gets a lot of attention from me the last couple of days, but I think she's going to be a great addition to our program. She fits how we play and what we do so well, and you see flashes of absolute brilliance.
Do you think we'll see a different style this year? I know during the red and blue scrimmage game last weekend, saw a little bit faster tempo. Do you think that's something that we will see continue to progress throughout the season?
You're very observant, Shane. We are playing a little faster. We're trying to get up and down a little bit more, and I think we're not this most athletic team in our league, but I think that our kids are pretty disciplined, and they're buying into running hard every time, and we'll see how that translates into wins and losses. But right now, the kids are comfortable running it. The coaches are happy to see some of the stuff we're seeing. So it's still kind of an experiment, and we'll see how it goes.
Anything further, Shane?
I'm good for now. Thank you.
We'll move on to another question that comes from Celeste Whitaker from Atlantic 10.
Hi, Coach. Can you just talk about building on, making the program's first NCAA tournament appearance last year, and just kind of what some of your biggest strengths are this year, other than your increased speed?
Well, I had a moment this morning when I got in the car, and I had the email from the Atlantic 10 saying we were picked second, and then to look at all the kids that were on the all the various all-conference teams in the preseason, and I had a moment because I thought back to my first year when we won 3 games, and so I mean I'm very happy and proud of our administration for giving us the support and all that, and our coaches and all the players that have come through to make all that happen. Having said all of that, this is just a prediction of what's going to happen, and doesn't mean a whole lot unless you go and prove it. And I think that right now we're really working on trying to be tougher, defensively more stingy, disciplined in running every single possession. It's not an easy thing to learn how to do, so we're trying to those nuances, or we're trying to get them down and to be as efficient and as tough as possible in a very demanding schedule and a very demanding league. We have a great league. We have great coaches, great players, and I believe that we might have I haven't looked at everybody's schedule, but I think we might have one of the toughest schedules in the league this year. It seems like we play at everybody's home court who's in the top half of the league this year, and we benefited from it last year. So we have to, there's reciprocity, but I'm not complaining. I think we'll be okay. But it's just, we have our challenges this year, and it'll be good to test, the character of our kids.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we have another question that comes from Shane White from 1616 Information Radio.
Coach, given your success last year, do you see that there will be any major changes in the way that you approach this year, just from the simple things like the way you're traveling or the way that you prepare for games? Will there be changes in that, or is it something that you're trying to stick with what you found worked last year and continue to build on that?
Well, we learned. We saw 2 years ago our men had the same season we did, got to the second round of the tournament. They won a lot of close games during that year, and then the next year I think they had a struggle with tight games and with everyone's opinions about where they should be, and so I don't want to put I don't want to put added pressure on the kids. So this is a brand new year. We really don't talk about last year a whole lot. It's an entirely new season, and even just taking out Kendall and adding Cassie changes the dynamics, so we're going into every game thinking that it's the most important game of the year, and trying to just do things the way we do things, and hopefully we'll have similar, if not better, results.
And even with I know that Casey Nance won't be available until mid into November. Will that give some other players an opportunity to try some different offenses out without Casey in the mix? And how do you think that will prepare them later on for the season?
Well, I think that the added reps that everyone's been getting have been great. Our post game is, we have 2 sophomores, a freshman, and a junior, not counting Casey. So so the reps that they're getting throughout the preseason and the first couple of weeks of the season have been great. And Casey's got a knack. That I've never seen anyone come back from an injury, and you don't see the rust. You don't see. She just comes back and she's going, and so hopefully that'll be the case. I think the surgery this time was the most effective she's had, and she's playing, pain-free now when she does get into practice and do stuff. So hopefully we'll get her back soon because, as good as the other kids are, they're not the defensive presence that Casey is, and it makes a big difference when you play Xavier and you got Casey on the floor to go against their big front line. So we definitely want her back, need her back, but in the meantime, I think we'll be okay until she does, because I have a lot of confidence in our kids.
Excellent. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And I have no further questions at this time.